Did you hear that? That right there is the real problem with the WNBA right now. Everybody's acting like this is just business as usual, like the league can just drift into May and everything will magically click into place. No, the WNBA is sitting on the hottest momentum it's had in decades, and the people in charge are playing chicken with the one thing you can't replace once you lose it: the fans' attention. And yes, Caitlin Clark is the pressure point. Because when the lights get brighter, the excuses get uglier.
Man, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We are waiting on an announcement on a deal to be done so we can know who's what free agents we getting on Caitlin Clark team, who we going to draft, and ultimately, when are we about to watch Caitlin Clark destroy these ladies in the WNBA? But this CBA nonsense has been going on and dragging along.
And before you even roll your eyes at the wording, listen to the emotion behind it. That's not just one YouTuber talking spicy. That's the sound of the modern WNBA audience. Impatient, invested, and ready to spend money, but only if the league actually puts a product on the court. The league just came off a season where it blasted attendance, viewership, merch, and digital engagement into the stratosphere. 54 million unique viewers across national partners, 2.35 million total attendance, and merchandise sales up over 600%. That's not nice growth. That's a sports property finally acting like a real machine. Now here's where everything falls apart. Instead of locking in the next era, the league and the union are letting a CBA fight threaten the most anticipated season in women's basketball history. And you can pretend that's dramatic, but the league itself is the one floating deadlines, because the calendar is a loaded gun.
The clock isn't just ticking, it's practically screaming. I agree with that. During a virtual negotiation session this past Monday, the WNBA delivered a stark ultimatum to the players' union. A deal must be reached by March 10th if the season is to start on time. According to AP, this isn't just posturing. With an expansion draft for 2 new teams on the horizon and a staggering 80% of the league's players currently sitting in free agency,
that 80% free agency number should scare everybody. Not just fans, owners, coaches, TV partners, sponsors. You can't sell storylines when rosters are a giant question mark. And the league isn't saying March 10th because it loves ultimatums. It's saying March 10th because even once you agree, it can take weeks to ratify and implement, while the league still needs a 2-team expansion draft for Toronto and Portland, free agency, the college draft, and training camps. ESPN laid that out plainly. Draft April 13th, camps April 19th, season May 8th, and the league still needs expansion draft plus free agency for 80% of the players. So let's set the table in a way people don't want to say out loud. This is not just players versus owners. This is Team Caitlin and the wave of new eyeballs versus Team WNBA gatekeeping, which includes anyone willing to fumble the moment just to prove a point. And I'm not just blaming players, I'm blaming executives too, because both sides are acting like leverage matters more than momentum. And honestly, this is the real problem. Both sides want to claim they're protecting the future, but somebody's about to burn the present. The union's argument is simple: pay us like the business you're becoming. And they've got receipts, real ones. For the first time in league history, the WNBA generated enough revenue in 2025 to trigger revenue sharing, and the union says $8 million is being dispersed to players from the 13 teams. That's historic. That's not vibes. That's a benchmark being hit. But here's the part that's going to make people mad. If your victory lap turns into a work stoppage threat that wrecks the schedule, you didn't win. You proved the league still can't get out of its own way. And if you're an owner or league exec hiding behind net revenue and expenses, like the players are being greedy for asking about gross, don't act surprised when the public decides you're the villain. Because fans know how this goes in pro sports. We're losing money until the TV checks clear. And yes, the NBA is in the room even when people pretend it's not. The commissioner of the NBA himself is publicly talking about the urgency here.
NBA and through the commissioner and however else you want to say that the NBA is not involved with the WNBA, you're just wrong.
That line right there, that's gasoline. Because it triggers the core debate fans keep having. Is the WNBA finally a standalone powerhouse, or is it still tethered to NBA infrastructure and patience? And here's why that matters. If you're a player, you want transparency and a share of the true upside. If you're an exec, you want cost control and flexibility because expansion is coming and the league's footprint is changing fast. Toronto and Portland are entering in 2026, and the league's already approved a massive expansion plan beyond that. So when a league is expanding, selling media rights, and bragging about growth, and then it turns around and says, "We can't do what you're asking," players hear one thing: stall tactics. Fans hear another thing: selfishness on both sides. And this is where the war lines get nasty. Because Caitlin Clark is not just a player anymore. She's an economic event. The 2024 WNBA season wasn't just up. It set all-time marks, and Clark set rookie records for points and threes and the all-time single-season assist record. So when the league drags its feet, it feels like sabotage to the casual fan. And when the union holds the line, it feels like betrayal to the new fan who showed up for year 2 of the Clark era. You see the trap? Everybody's got a rational argument, and everybody's about to be hated. Now let's talk about the so-called deadline, because this is the part where the sports world turns into a street fight.
This is how I was taught to set a deadline. You say to a person that if we don't have an agreement by March 10th, the deal that you are pondering for acceptance by March 10th.
That is the cold-blooded owner playbook. And if you're Team WNBA management, you're nodding like, finally someone said it. Because in their mind, the union opted out, asked for the moon, and now wants the league to blink first. But if you're team player, you hear that and you think, so the league is basically admitting it wants to punish us for negotiating. That's not partnership, that's strong-arming. And the public reaction to that style is always split down the middle. Half the comments go, that's business. The other half go, that's exploitation. And guess what? Both sides can find history to justify it because women's basketball has been fighting pay, facilities, and respect battles forever. And here's the thing people are missing. The March 10th deadline isn't just about a date, it's about control. Who controls the pace? Who controls the narrative? Who gets blamed if May 8th gets messy? Because ESPN reported this thing is already at the 11th hour. That's not fan panic, that's league-level panic. Adam Silver himself said, "Often things tend to get done at the 11th hour. We're getting awfully close to the 11th hour." So if you're still acting like this is a normal negotiation timeline, you're either uninformed or you're lying to yourself. And this is where everything gets uglier. Once people start threatening lockouts and replacement players, the conversation stops being about fairness and starts being about fairness and starts being about humiliation.
That I agree with that. I agree. I don't know why the WNBA is playing soft with the WNBPA. So, like, put your foot down. Put your foot down. Give them, look, y'all got till March 10th to agree.
Replacement players? In a league finally breaking through. That's not just a threat. That's a match held next to a gas leak. Because it signals disrespect. It tells the players you're replaceable. And it tells the fans we'll risk quality just to win the negotiation. That's how you poison the well. But I'm going to say something else that's going to upset a different group. The union also has to be careful not to overplay its hand right as revenue sharing finally triggered. The WNBPA is literally pointing to new money as proof of value. Brianna Turner said, "This shows our value and how what we're fighting for makes sense and how we should keep fighting." That's powerful. That's righteous. That's also risky. Because if the public narrative turns into players got the league's first revenue-sharing year and still might delay the season, you're handing management a PR shield. And I know what some of you are thinking, why should players care about PR? Because women's sports is still climbing. So women's stats is now and ever do. The audience is still being trained. Sponsors are still deciding what this is worth. You don't get to torch the living room because you're mad about the mortgage. So here's the binary, and I want you to actually pick one. If you're Team Caitlin/Team New Fans, you believe the league has a responsibility to deliver the season on time, capitalize on the boom, and stop letting internal politics block the product. You think the union can't hold the league hostage at the exact moment the doors are finally open. If you're Team WNPAP/Team Players, you believe this is the one moment in history where leverage is real. Revenue sharing finally proved the business is working, and if the players don't demand a fair system now, they'll be stuck begging later while expansion and media money explode around them. And this is where everything falls apart again, because both sides are right, but only one side can win the calendar.
If you think that the players believe that March 10th is the deadline in order to start the season on May 8th, then you've never done a fire drill.
That's the blunt truth. If March 10th is a soft deadline, it's not leverage. It's theater. And theater is dangerous when you're trying to be taken seriously as a major league. If management bluffs and folds, it looks weak forever. If the union calls the bluff and the season gets impacted, fans turn on players. Either way, the fallout is real. My verdict? The league and the union are both flirting with disaster, but the most unforgivable outcome is wasting the Caitlin Clark moment while the numbers are finally undeniable. The WNBA proved it can draw like never before. Source now it has to prove it can govern like it. So I'm asking you directly, and I want a forced choice answer in the comments. If May 8th is threatened, who's more to blame? Team WNBA holding the line for revenue sharing, or Team WNBA management playing deadline games? While the spotlight is hottest,